How precious are your memories to you? What if you lived in a world where you could reorganize your memories as you see fit? Would you be okay with it, knowing that the technology could be used by evil corporations to turn you into a mind-hacked consumer? Well, you guys are in for a treat because today we leap into the body of a black woman protagonist in the game Remember Black Women and All That They Have Achieved. Actually, it's called Remember Me, but I got so much crap for Red Dead Revolver. I might as well admit that I was impressed that a game of this caliber had the balls to actually go ahead with a black protagonist. That is a huge gamble. A black woman? In the future? Not even Star Wars is that brave. Anyway, I was going to do a good games no one played, but a lot of reviewers highlight this game already, so I will do it quickly here. This is not a slouch game. I played it when it came out and got all the achievements. The concept is nice and the protagonist is awesome regardless of her color, although I know a lot of you would much rather see a white dude's tight sculpted butt for a 20-hour campaign. The contrast of neon and muddy colors are really pleasing to the eye. And the sci-fi story and world building are pretty high level for a video game. It's a tight game, and I like it a lot. Also, it doesn't ever make light of any race. She just happens to be black. No one cares in the game. I like the idea where it doesn't really matter in the future. Do I think that's a real thing that will actually happen in the future? One could hope, but at least this game shows it that way. The big drawback for a lot of critics is the fighting because it takes rhythm to do the combos correctly, and executing combos is key to winning fights on the hardest difficulty level. A lot of people don't have rhythm, so they complain that it was too hard. Literally, all the moves took the same exact time to execute. So you were pretty much doing quarter note timing the whole time, but it wasn't like Bayonetta, where you would just button mash, pause, and then button mash again. That's so much easier, right? Anyway, now that that's out of the way, let's do some fair and balanced storytelling, shall we? Remember Me starts with a Sensen commercial, where a bunch of people are talking about Sensen and how it affected their lives. Real quick, Sensen is a device installed in almost everyone's neck, represented by that floating circle thing. It allows memories to be reorganized by the use of electronic memory devices. I do have slight complaints with this world building, but that'll be later. First, in the commercial, the little Asian girl's like...
And he smiled, and we hit the switch together, and then I felt everything. Oh, for the first time, I was living all of his love for me. It felt so warm and so strong that it almost hurt. For the last 3 years, every day has been our first day.
Now, how many of you out there want to share your memories with your significant other? I don't. I mean, I love my wife, but there's no way in hell I want my wife to know with absolute certainty how I feel about her, and vice versa. The way my wife remembers things and the way she takes things out of context that I say really would just start a fight if we both were able to combine our memories. That's for real. She's not going to believe my memory, that's for sure. Anyway, we open with the woman having a bunch of light cubes sucked out of her neck while she screams in pain. A dude in a futuristic hazmat suit asks her if she remembers what her own name is, and she tells him it's Nilin. She's got a palindrome name. And he's pretty surprised she still has that small memory left. He reports to a dude named Dr. Quaid who tells him to send her through the rest of the process, and then he will handle the rest of the programming. So, Nilin is left alone to zombie her way through the rest of the process. As soon as she gets up, though, someone who has hacked her brain pops in and tells her to get ready.
Nilin, can you hear me?
Yes.
They're about to wipe your brain, Nilin. Don't let them do it. I need to create a diversion. Be ready to move when I say.
This dude hacks the system and sets off the quarantine protocol. Then he opens the garage door next to Nilin for an escape. Of course, Nilin, leaving the area, sets off the alarms because quarantine and this scary-ass mech charges her. Jesus.
The passage on your right. Take it.
I don't know, but that mech just makes my skin crawl, man. Anyway, once she ends up in the body disposal chamber, she is told to hop in a casket that takes her to Slum 404 in Neo Paris. In the meantime, the hacker introduces himself as Edge. That's a pretty lame hacker name. He tells Nilin that the enemy is Memorize, and they have digitized memories and commoditized them. Dude, I can't imagine how much lobbying it would take to make the government sign off on that legislation. That sounds horrible. Nilin is a memory hunter, which means she can steal memories and rearrange them. And she is also a part of a revolutionary group called the Errorists, of which Edge is the leader. Nilin ends up where Edge said, in a slum where all these deformed men are looking for more messed up guys in the caskets that are still alive. After they hear someone named Johnny howling in the sewers.
Listen! Johnny is crying!
Ew. They free Nilin, and they are not happy to see her. As a matter of fact, they want to eat her? Anyway, Nilin whoops up on them, and Edge tells her they are called Leapers. The Leapers are the product of humans who have sensin put in them, and it doesn't quite work out as well. Maybe from too much fragmented memories, or maybe their brains were jacked up to begin with, and adding the sensin turned them into complete lunatics. One thing's for sure, they have covered the slums and are attacking people who have normal faces. So, Edge tells Nilin to go to Headache Tommy's restaurant. As Nilin goes through the slums, she runs across a bunch of newscasts and video ads that help her in the world building. For instance, there is an Angela Bassett-looking woman from Memorize telling the citizens not to worry.
Is that Angela Bassett?
Citizens of Neo Paris, the Leaper threat has been addressed. Thanks to the reconversion project, they now live to serve you faithfully.
Also, Nilin is as well known an errorist as Edge says, and she passes people who are addicted to memory drugs. That's really weird. So Nilin finally gets to Headache Tommy's restaurant, the Leaking Brain, to find Headache Tommy himself providing some spirits to a dude named Bob who is scared a guy named Johnny is going to take his heart for Christmas. I wonder if he's being literal. Anyway, Headache Tommy sees Nilin and rolls up on her like they are old friends, but Nilin starts backing away because she lost her memory, of course. Tommy takes her to a room where her memory hunter gear is. Uh-oh, she's being watched. So, Tommy sits outside while Nilin and he talk about the bounty hunter Olga Sedova.
The big advantage
beef with the natives is they've got the memory of a goldfish. No risk of him turning you over to Olga Sedova.
The bounty hunter? Is she dangerous?
Determined. She'll turn the slum inside out to catch you.
Not just to catch you. Typical brain rat. Barely outside and already working.
Nilin?
This is for you, David.
So, before Olga can slit Nilin's throat, Nilin puts to use her glove on Olga's sensen. Isn't that convenient? Nilin dives deep into Olga's memories to find Olga's husband David on life support, and surprise, it's Dr. Quaid. That dude from the beginning of the game that was going to remove the rest of Nilin's memories himself. Something horrible has happened to David's memories, and Olga is using a memory transfusion to try to fill in the blanks so that David doesn't turn into a leaper. Of course, Dr. Quaid lets Olga know that it's a long process and it's not going to be cheap. But that's okay, because Olga can use the money she gets from hunting down memory hunters for Memorize to pay Memorize to fix her husband, who Memorize actually messed up. I guess you can't just lawyer up and sue them while your husband is still on life support, now can you? Like, who else is gonna fix him? So Nilin goes into the memory and tweaks just a few things so that Dr. Quaid actually kills David. And when Nilin comes out, Olga is all about getting revenge for her dead husband. Now she is an ally. I like how Olga's knife unnecessarily transforms to go into her sheath. Now that Olga's an errorist spy, that's a hard thing to say, errorist. That's too many R's. Errorists. Errorist. Now that Olga is an errorist spy, she provides a ride out of the slums up to the High Sedity St. Michael's district. After being dropped off, Olga goes off to deal with family business. It's a little hard for me to believe that Olga fell for Nilin's trick. Obviously, Olga, being a bounty hunter who works for Memorize, would have read Nilin's dossier and would know that she has the power to reorganize memories. Also, what happens when she finds out that her husband is actually alive? How many covert operations is she going to do in conjunction with setting up a funeral and getting the body of her husband before she finds out that she has been tricked? She never finds out in the story, by the way. Olga could have been mixed in the story a lot better. I wouldn't have minded exploring her character a little bit more. Maybe they would have solved it in some sort of DLC had the game been more popular. Anyway, Nilin's mission is to get some codes out of Kaori Sheridan's mind. She's the most famous architect in Neo Paris. In order to get to her, she needs to meet up with a contact named Bad Request. So Nilin gets up to the top of a ritzy mall, and Edge starts complaining about the creator of Sensen, Charlie Wells. He lives on top of an ivory tower tinkering away. Memorize's CEO is Celia Cartier Wells. She's the lady from the video billboard in Slum 404 earlier. Nilin rendezvous with Bad Request. Bad Request states that he is Nilin's biggest fan and that he found a way to get to Sheridan's loft. Nilin uses her glove to pull out the memories, and on the way out, Bad Request thanks her for not erasing the memories of their encounter. Let's talk about membranes. When Nilin steals memories in the game, they show up as membranes. It's basically a projection of the memory's owner going through paths or opening doors. Nilin can use these projections also to steal combinations or hack devices. Edge tells Nilin that he specifically wants the structural plans of the San Michel Dam. Also, on another video billboard is an advertisement for a dude named Kid Xmas, or Kid Christmas.
Yeah! Nilin, I'm talking to you. Your back's against the wall. You duped Olga, but you're dealing with Kid Christmas now, pumpkin.
This Kid Christmas. I knew him. He's a memory hunter like me.
Was. He's the shame of your profession. Could have been a genius, but he traded his soul for a fat paycheck.
We are sure to run into his loud ass. Nilin finds Sheridan, steals the info from her without her even knowing. She's like, why am I thinking about the dam? Right as this happens, Edge's signal is being interfered with. He tells Nilin to get to a higher place so that the signal will be better. I want to take a second to admire the view of the city at this point. Sorry, I should stop and take a look at the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower lets you know that it's Paris, or Neo-Paris. At what point in these futuristic times does somebody just decide to rename a city? Right? It's just weird they do that. It's Neo Tokyo. It's Neo Paris. Really? At what point the mayor just jumps up and says, we finally reached the point of mechanical and electrical supremacy, and this place is furthermore named Neo Paris. Like, do I live in Neo Atlanta in 10 years? Like, how is this gonna work? When cars start hovering, like, where does Neo come in at some point? I don't know. It's so weird to me. They just throw it in there. Neo whatever. And that lets you know that you're in the future. It's stupid. Can't just be Paris from the future. You gotta be like Neo Paris. Anyway, sorry. The Eiffel Tower is still there, so it can't be that Neo, right? And when does the Eiffel Tower transform into Optimus Prime or something? It's okay. Nilin gets to the top of the building to find out that it was all a trap laid by Kid Christmas. He's got everything set up for a live event. Floating cameras, pyrotechnics, everything. I have to give Nilin some credit. It's very rare that you hear a British accent talk shit to this degree.
Political ideals are so last millennium.
You always waste so much saliva! Or is it just when you're on the air?
You always had that cocky, loudmouth thing going for you.
I mentioned Kid Christmas brought everything. Well, not everything. The one thing he didn't bring was the skills to take Nilin out on his own reality show. Look at him whining like a little wuss. Whatever. Let's do it.
Oh, Kid. All these years, and still on the losing side.
No, not here. Not in front of my fans.
Please, not in front of my fans.
The name is Nilin. This time, you'll remember me.
By the way, I don't exactly know what being overloaded does in the long term. Is Nilin killing people? Is she just scrambling their brain for a time, or is she turning them into vegetables? The game never explains. Libras don't have the overload prompt, so maybe that means you can't be overloaded without normal memories. Either way, it looks really dope, like a shotgun blast to the head with cubes. Got him. So now that there is no interference, Edge gets the codes and opens up the San Michel Dam. Saint Michael, San Michel. They go back and forth with the name. The water drains out of the slums and into the San Michel district, which sucks for the rich folks. I mean, it really sucks. They kind of downplay it a little bit, but come on, unloading a bunch of water onto the streets of the high city Neo-Paris is definitely going to kill a lot of people. They kind of act like it just kind of inconvenienced some people, like they were going to take a little bit longer getting their kids from school. You definitely killed a bunch of people living on ground level. Come on. Still, the absolute rich people who live way higher are not going to be touched. But any middle class to upper middle class person in that place, definitely you mess them up for real, big time. That sucks. Anyway, there happens to be a high-level jail called La Bastille that was covered by the water that was just drained. La Bastille has the rest of Nilin's memories since she was put there after she was convicted. Of course, she doesn't have an idea of how to get in other than surrendering, but she knows who does. A mysterious man named Johnny Greenteeth. Supposedly the same one who howls from the sewers.
Listen! Johnny is crying!
And wants to have Bob's heart.
Johnny wants my heart for Christmas.
But first she needs to go back to see Headache Tommy at the leaking brain. It's worth it to point out that Nilin doesn't feel great about flooding the rich area and probably killing a high amount of rich folks. Because she has amnesia, she really has no idea what she means in the story. So she is starting to feel like a puppet. With all that said, she doesn't know why she's staying. So Nilin gets through the newly drained slums and arrives at the leaking brain to find Tommy fighting off a horde of leapers. Nilin helps him and asks for assistance on finding Johnny Greenteeth. He tells her she has to go into the sewers. They fight off another wave of leapers and then realize that poor Tommy's restaurant is totaled. Nilin has to find Johnny, so she leaves the mess to Tommy. Adieu. Nilin finds Johnny Greenteeth in an abandoned subway. At first he looked like a normal dude, but then... What the heck happened to you, bruh? Nilin manages to steal his memories without incident. Sorta. With that knowledge, Nilin works her way through the minefields towards La Bastille and runs into a mech like the one that chased her in the beginning. The mech is named Zorn, and it's still just as scary. But Nilin overcomes it and overloads the solder out of its circuits. And with that, Nilin enters La Bastille. Yay! More sewers. Nilin explains that La Bastille is controlled by a warden named La Madame, who confiscates the memories of the prisoners so they don't know where to run, even if they escape the underwater prison. It's too bad Edge ain't trying to save everyone. With the way that he got in contact with Nilin, he could have taken over that prison. Anyway, Nilin infiltrates the prison, and Edge gives her a rousing pep talk.
Only Madame has access to the Bastille memory servers. Trace the bitch down. Find out how to get them.
As Nilin sneaks through, she remembers how she felt as a prisoner there. She witnesses Dr. Quaid complaining to the head of security about how he abuses the prisoners.
Sergeant Vaughn, as much as I appreciate your services, I do nonetheless require a minimum standard to the specimens you bring us. I need healthy specimens, not trauma victims!
Yeah, whatever. Just fill out a damn form.
Appointment notice. Madam and Dr. Quaid are required in the interrogation block.
I shall...
But before they can get into it, Dr. Quaid is pulled away. Sergeant Bond is the one who knows the layout of the prison, so it's time to take his disgusting ass out. Seriously, taking advantage of prisoners that can't even remember their lives outside of prison has to lead to many suicides. It makes me really mad, and this world ain't even real. But everyone's running this prison is a complete scumbag. Nilin follows Vaughn into a bathroom to find out it was an ambush. But with Nilin wearing her combat suit, the ambush was not good enough. Vaughn still gets what he deserves.
This is for everything you did to me! And that's for everything else I can't even remember!
There you go, sis. You got the keys to the kingdom. La Bastille is yours.
So Nilin has the layout, and while she makes her way through, Madame is made aware. So she heightens the security and pulls in Bad Request, who had been captured since then. She is interrogating him to find out more about Nilin. When Nilin shows up behind the two-way mirror, Madame can sense her and issues a threat to her like she's talking to Bad Request.
And when I've finished with you, you'll think you've always adored me.
No, never!
Silence! In time, you will willingly give your life for me.
Nilin uses the opportunity to take the Madame's memory. Edge tells her that she's close to the entrance of the Panopticon, the central tower where the memories are held. But as Nilin heads through Madame's memories of the path, it doesn't seem the same, as it seems like the Madame is still threatening Nilin in Madame's memories.
The only person allowed to play with memories here is me!
When the final membrane actually attacks Nilin, she contacts Edge to find out what's wrong.
Since when has a remembrane turned out to be hostile? Edge, something bizarre is up here.
Edge won't be able to help you, dear. The game has begun, and it's my turn to play.
So Nilin gets there. Madame and her share some witty banter. And then Madame bangs her staff and sucks Nilin into Madame's game world.
Haha! Let's play another game.
But Nilin is too hard to tame, and she chips away at Madame's psyche until she concedes. Gamer's note. When Nilin overloads Madame, she gets a force spammer, which allows Nilin to move things that are labeled. The game needs to teach you how to use it, so it had the nerve to throw a tutorial puzzle at you instead of just having you free the memories. It was really tacky and stopped the story dead in its tracks. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have to stop right there because we're about halfway through. This is a good place to stop. I'll see you guys on the next video game plot summaries. Peace.